Have you guys ever heard of furries? So I saw this really popular post on Reddit where a girl went to a furry event with her boyfriend and got the ick.
I'm sorry, I can't do it.
I think there are definitely levels to this community, and in this Reddit thread, we're gonna be taking a glimpse into the different kinds as OP experiences them for herself. I didn't even know what a furry exactly was before I met him. We were together for literally 3 whole years until we moved in together. I found one of his furry outfits while I was helping him move his clothes into our apartment. At first I thought that maybe at some point he had worked in children's shows or selling things in the subway. In my country, it's normal to see people in costumes selling things. Then I also found a common foxtail and thought it was something kinky, but it's not. Okay, wow, he went 3 whole years without telling her anything, but she must have been so confused to just see random foxtails and ears scattered everywhere, so just thinking about that is like kind of funny, but I kind of feel bad for her, but just the visual of it, oh my gosh. He got nervous and confessed to me that he is a furry. I looked at him like, what the heck is a furry? Anyway, he explained to me that years ago, he created this persona and it's a hobby that makes him feel at ease and happy. He said that he hid it from me because he was embarrassed and scared that I might leave him or laugh at him. He's a serious and professional man, not the kind of person who would even dress like that. I assured him that I wasn't gonna leave him and that I love him, that knowing my boyfriend uses a fox suit was the least attractive thing in the world, but I support his hobby. I didn't really think much about it since then. Did it seem weird to me? Yes. But at the same time, I thought I loved him so much that I was just gonna support him. It's just a hobby he does rarely, so it's not like he talks about that in our day-to-day. Neither is this his way of being himself. He said that he just likes to do the character and it's not something with a deep meaning or anything. Okay, a level-headed take so far, so let's keep going. It's been a year since that discovery, and he's invited me to a furry event for the first time. I've never gotten into furry events, and I haven't seen him wearing his suit either. He wears it very rarely, because it's not my thing at all, but he invited me really excited and shy, so I couldn't refuse to go with him because I also wanted to go see what it's like and know that world. Okay, it's good he at least gave her like a year to simmer on the idea, and it seems like he didn't push it on her in terms of trying to talk about it all the time with her or even getting her to be in on it either. So he's just enjoying it in his own time, which is honestly fair at this point. The con though, I've heard things. I've heard that it can be stinky. I've heard that maybe, some people take being furry to an extreme there. So that one I'm interested in getting to see. Continuing on, when we got there, it was like, oh, this is getting real. When I saw him park the car and put on his suit. I didn't have a suit, so my face was totally visible when we got out of the car a few streets back and had to walk through the city center like that. I felt embarrassed, even if it's awful to say that. To be fair to her though, going from barely even knowing what a furry is to going to a full-on convention is a big jump, but I think it's a good sign that despite being embarrassed, she's still going to support him, so that's good. First, we met his furry friends who were waiting in a park for him, and I found out that my boyfriend has a name that he uses when he's in character. They were nice, but no, it's not an everyday thing to see your boyfriend use a pet name dressed as a fox and talking to other people who are also like that, although some didn't have a suit, just a tail or nothing. I felt embarrassed because people around obviously walked by and laughed or looked curiously. A few minutes later, we finally went to the place of the event and it wasn't that many people, but a large group, most of them without a suit and just wearing tails or just a mask. I know it's wrong to say it, but a lot of those people smelled musty. Long hair so greasy, you could fry an egg on it. Just weird people overall. Years ago, I accompanied my sister to an otaku event and it was 95% the same kind of people. Like weird in the wrong way. I've just never been in that kind of environment. My boyfriend isn't like that at all. He's attractive, smells good, has a normal life and work, and I don't think anyone would expect him to be a furry, so it was my first time seeing other furries in person beside him. At one point, some of them started playing at removing each other's tails, some were doing choreographies and TikToks, and some of them even like to do high jumps in 4, although not my boyfriend. He was just walking around with me and just letting some people take pictures with him, and then did a TikTok with another person. Not gonna lie, just seeing her describing the whole atmosphere is so interesting because I've heard of furries and I've heard of their conventions, but I've always been so curious about what they do at these conventions, so I feel like we're all learning here. This is a learning moment, guys. You know what it's like to see your boyfriend do a choreo dressed as a blue fox while asking you to call him by his furry name and pet his head? I do know it, and it was impossible for me not to change the way I see him. Getting her to kind of do, like, pet his head and stuff can kind of be weird, I will admit. That's a little bit too much for a person who's not within the realm of furry. So I feel that. I feel her on that. I didn't feel comfortable in the place. It bothered me a lot since there were some using harnesses in their suits. What's so sexy about an animal? I mean, some artists' stands had furry art, which was pretty explicit. My boyfriend dislikes that kind of art. For him, his persona is a performance. So I just felt even more weird because they're animals even if they call that a fursona. I felt weird, and since yesterday, every time I see my boyfriend, I can't help but to think of him being part of those people and him dressed like that. I really love him, but I just feel like I got the ick, and I hate that because I always wanted to be the supportive girlfriend, but this is just too much. I don't want to talk about this with my boyfriend and make him feel ashamed of who he is and likes. I don't want to make him feel bad about my feelings at all. He's a great man. Really, the only time I felt tenderness yesterday was when he hugged me thanking me for supporting him in this. I just feel like the worst person in the world, and the last thing I want is to hurt his heart even if his friends are too weird for me. I just hope that I can get over this icky feeling fast because he's just really happy and shows me pictures of the event telling me that we should go to another event together. And I just can't tell him that the last thing I want to do is go to one of those events again. I always supported him. I don't feel manipulated like some people say in the comments. I guess she edited this in after she made the post, so just take note of that. I did want to go with him because I thought that maybe it was going to be fun. It wasn't. Edit. He's not into anything sexual. He told me that his character is a performative thing that he enjoys doing from time to time, but doesn't find it exciting or comfortable fetishizing a fursona because at the end of the day, he's just making a character. Then he told me that for him, it's like a person getting aroused by being dressed as Mickey for a play. He can't feel like that and finds it weird. We literally live together and share the PC. If he has any strange movements, I would notice them. He goes to those events very occasionally because he doesn't like the more weird side of furries. I know he's not a pervert. And no, my intuition doesn't tell me that he is that. My intuition just tells me that the people at that event smelled funny and that I don't want to set foot in that place again. Okay, OP has a pretty good sense of humor sometimes, not gonna lie. But to be honest, I don't think she's weirded out by her partner, because throughout the whole post, you can tell that she's defending him a lot and saying he's just a normal guy for the most part. I think maybe seeing some of the more intense people from the fan base when she went to the convention is what mostly gave her the ick, because she didn't know much about the furry community other than what she saw at the convention. So I feel like she just subconsciously started connecting those people with her partner, which gave her the ick. I think she knows deep down inside though that her partner isn't like that, and she even feels bad for it. So I think if she's given more time to let it simmer, it should be fine. Okay, our most favorite part though is the comments. So let's take a look through what people are saying because I already know people are gonna be so judgy. Comment number 1. I'm sorry for this happening to you, but I think you know that he belongs with his own kind. It's time to set that fox free back into the wild where he belongs. You can't domesticate a lot of them, unfortunately, no matter how hard you try. Okay, this one was a funny one. I can tell they're joking, and I hope they're joking. But OP seems to know that they're joking too because she says, "My fox is in captivity for now." Comment number 2. Sorry, but I can't stop laughing, lol. Maybe one day you'll laugh too. For God's sake, that's so funny. OP says, at times everything that happened around me was bizarre and funny, but I couldn't laugh because they all take their characters really seriously and I didn't want to be disrespectful. Kudos to her for just having that self-control because, yeah, just the whole situation from a non-furry perspective is definitely can be quite comical. Comment number 3. Girly, I think it's time for a sit-down conversation. Tell him that you support his hobby, but you're not interested in taking part because it makes you personally uncomfortable. Not him, but the other people and the vibe. Hopefully he understands and you'll get over the weird memory. If the ick sticks through, unfortunately that is what it is and you're not compatible. But if he's as good as you say he is, I think you can probably get past this as long as you're not involved. Good take, honestly. I agree with that. She was definitely more icked out from the actual convention and the people there than she is about her own boyfriend. So let it simmer, let it go through, just don't go to another convention, and I think she'll be fine. OP's response to this comment was, yes, I think that's what stops me from doing it, is that he told me that his previous girlfriends laughed at his hobby or criticized him because he doesn't look like the kind of person who's into that. It was very difficult for him to show himself that way with me. I never really expected to be in this situation, and I don't know how to broach the subject without making him feel bad because he just wants my support. And it looks like support OP has given him, so that's good. Okay, last comment before we get into the update. Don't most furry stuff involve sex between them? Isn't most of the sexual interaction between males? Is he bi? If he failed to disclose his kink to you initially and hid it for 3 years, I think it's safe to assume there's more he may be withholding from you. You may be his link to normal. It's like someone not disclosing they have a drug or alcohol habit and hiding it for as long as they can. The chances of a relationship surviving long term when one is an addict and the other isn't are very slim. Unfortunately, there are so many red flags related to your discovery of his suit that I'd probably suggest you reconsidering continuing the relationship. He's not going to suddenly stop fantasizing about being a furry, is he? He also has been lying to you for 3 years and is manipulating you while trying to convince you he's worth your time and distract you from some serious underlying issues he has despite deceiving you for so long. You're young, naive, and sound like a nice person who is honest. You deserve the same in my opinion. Either that or buy a suit and join the furry fun. Oh no. Okay, not gonna lie, this comment seems a little bit harsh. It seems like he's told her all that she needs to know. She doesn't think that anything else is happening, so honestly, I think this commenter might be tripping a little bit, not gonna lie. OP's response was that, I don't know about that. As far as I know, my boyfriend doesn't have a fetish with his suit and doesn't like those kinds of things. He's straight, and if he were to sleep with other people behind my back, I'd know because it's hard to ignore the fox suit in the closet. He's just got his character, as weird as it may seem to me, and just goes to these events once a year. Okay, OP is definitely very reasonable so far, and I'm happy about that. So let's just see how things went in the update. First of all, I never had any problem with him telling me after 3 years about this, and I said that in the first post. I always understood how afraid someone can feel to say who he is. Everyone has their secrets, and there's nothing wrong if you're not harming anyone with them, and after reading the comments people left on the post, I understand the fear that my boyfriend had. Some people even told me that he was grooming me. It's just disgusting, like if I couldn't defend myself. Okay, some of y'all in the comments are just experts at reaching. Like, what do you mean grooming? He just took her to his hobby convention? Like, I'm so confused. If I brought my partner to an anime convention, would I be grooming him? Like, make it make sense, guys. Some of you commenters, just make it make sense. Thank you. I didn't need to talk to my boyfriend because during the night he sat down to talk to me and apologize. He showed me that one of his friends told him that the organizers of the event changed, and that's why there were people with NSFW stuff. My boyfriend was also uncomfortable with that since the last time he went to that event, those types of outfits were forbidden. He showed me pictures, and yes, the atmosphere and the people looked different. They found out too late about it because some people started to complain about that in the Instagram of the event. It seems that there's public friendly events and others aren't like that, but the new people in charge of the event just changed a lot of things. Okay, first of all, love that he approached her, and even from this conversation, it sounds like he's very aware that some people in the fandom, as there are in all fandoms, take it too far and doesn't identify with that. So I don't know why all the comments were so harsh, to be honest, because even from the first post, I could tell that she was saying that he was pretty good. He's pretty normal otherwise. So I confessed to him that I didn't feel comfortable either, and he was surprised because after all, I was smiling all the time and pretending that everything was fine, which is true. We talked a lot and he was very apologetic for how he behaved. He said that he would have gone without the suit and should have shown me pictures of the place before we went. Honestly, I never showed him discomfort and I was always with a fake smile, so I understand that he thought I was having a good time. My boyfriend just kept apologizing deeply. He said he really didn't know how to react since it was the first time he had taken someone so important to an event, so he behaved that way. He apologized for not thinking about how I might have felt, and I apologized for not communicating my feelings as well. Oh, I'm glad that they could get through this in such a level-headed way, to be honest. This could have been way way worse. I received literally more than 100 messages and comments telling me that my boyfriend is a pervert. I don't know much about the furry world, so I was disturbed when some people started to leave comments talking about things I didn't know about them. I had never distrusted him before. We share a PC and I can use his cell phone whenever I want, but I am so stupid that it was difficult for me not to get carried away by more than 100 people telling me that I am dating a degenerate. I asked him if he doesn't really feel anything sexual by doing that. He never showed that, and from day one he made it clear to me that for him it's just a character. He doesn't even behave like an animal when he's in character. He wanted me to pat his head as a cute gesture. He was clearly upset that I didn't trust him, but he ended up giving me his cell phone so I could check whatever I wanted. It made me feel worse to see that his chat with his furry friends wasn't even too active since they all have busy lives, but they said that I'm really cool and they liked me. The rest of this stuff was just about work and me. I feel really stupid for letting my head be filled with comments from sad strangers, but my boyfriend told me that he actually understands why I feel that way. It happened to him too. In the past, he had a furry girlfriend, but she did have a fetish with that, and that made him uncomfortable, so he ended the relationship. That's why my boyfriend doesn't date furry women. He says that the vast majority are weird people who ruin the community. He doesn't see his character as his true self, and he doesn't identify with those who do. For him, it's quite a character, like cosplaying, although he doesn't like anime or anything like that, so he prefers furry because he can do an original character. I said I was really sorry for thinking like that about him and told him about the post. He doesn't speak English, so I translated him some of the things except the people who left weird comments. I promised him to have a better communication with him about everything. I never felt manipulated. He never pressured me to do anything. I just wanted to be part of his world. And no, I'm not a poor victim who fell into the clutches of a beast. Some people are really weird trying to look for a villain in every single post. Someone even said that my boyfriend was love bombing me with pictures of the event to manipulate me, for God's sakes. Y'all, please stop making up new terms and touch some grass. Oh, you go, girl. I just said that my boyfriend showed me pictures of the event because he was happy that I went with him, and all of a sudden he's Charles Manson? Do these people have loved ones? It's too weird. Oh my god, I love how sassy OP is. I'd rather embrace that eccentric side of him than ruin a cute relationship just because I don't share his hobby. I really like going to raves and he doesn't, but there's nothing wrong with that. We will have separated hobbies. I just want to have a good life with him, far away from the furries with harnesses and the not safe for work art. You go, girl. And I learned my lesson of never posting again in these kinds of places. The last time I checked the post, one person got downvoted because they said that we sound adorable. I guess that's a vibe in this app, haha. Thanks to the people who gave me good advice and were kind. Honestly, I stopped reading the post after a few comments. Good for you. It sounded like it was just getting too crazy, so good for you. By the private messages I received, I know people really wanted an update about me leaving my boyfriend, but no, I want to think that it actually made us stronger. Love that. I want to be a better girlfriend for him and gift him clothes for his character. Aww. That's the end. Okay guys, this is a perfect example of why if you do decide to post on Reddit, be prepared to not take all the comments to heart, if you know what I mean. At the end of the day, these are internet strangers who are judging your life based on a few paragraphs you wrote. If you're going through an issue and you need more perspectives, Reddit will definitely give it to you, but that doesn't mean that it's always the right advice to follow. OP though has a good head on her shoulders and an even better sense of humor, so good job on this. So I'm curious, do you guys think that the Reddit comments were too harsh? I'm genuinely curious because in my opinion, some of these comments were just blowing things a little bit way too much out of proportion. Hope you enjoyed the furry content though.